So this is intermediate. Please take a second and set up your yoga mat so it's kind of set up like mine. And the majority of the class will be facing each other. You'll mirror me, and I'll do my best to describe left and right, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll be the one moving around for different camera angles and stuff. So let's go ahead and let's begin on our tummies. This is called Crocodile Pose. You can point your toes or not. You can rest your head on one ear or the other ear, or have your forehead on the ground. I'm going to keep my head turned so it doesn't mess with the sound. And first, we're just trying to breathe deeply in and out through the nose. As you inhale, you'll feel your tummy press into the ground. As you exhale, you'll feel the tummy move away from the ground. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now, tone your legs a little bit, tone your seat a little bit, and let's come into what's called the Sphinx Pose. So the Sphinx Pose, we're trying to gaze forward, push a little bit through your hands, push a little bit through your forearms, keep your legs toned, keep your buttocks toned a little bit, and we continue breathing in and out through the nose. Among other things, the Sphinx Pose is helping to pre-stretch the front of your body, but it's also helping to tone your legs, tone your hips. We're just starting to prepare the body step by step, nice and easy, integrate the mind and muscles. Good. Now let's get into the 8-point plank. The 8-point plank, you just pull your face straight back, and now you try to curl your spine from your neck down. Tuck your toes, pull your face back, and now start to curl your spine. The rib cage is going to curl first. Belly button pulls up off the yoga mat. The hips stay kind of low. We hold and breathe. You really want to feel that in your abs. Steady breathing. If this is impossible or uncomfortable, just skip it. You don't have to do this right now. You can stay in Sphinx Pose if you need to. Hold. Breathe. And now we try to lower down. Nice and easy. Once you're flat on your tummy, point your toes, bring your arms to your side, and we get into what's called the Locust Pose. So push down through your feet first, push down through your legs, push down through your hips, and now slowly lift your skull, shoulders, a couple of ribs. Make sure you're still breathing. Keep your arms straight, and then raise your arms. If you cannot raise your arms, that's also okay. Your hands might be here. You might even be supporting yourself a little bit with your hands. Don't push, but just support. Otherwise, we're trying to be here. Get your arms up as high as you can. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other, but keep lifting. Push through your feet, lift through your skull. One more inhale. Exhale, lower down nice and easy. Hands under your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Brace yourself and push to all fours. Push your hips back a tiny little bit and start to straighten your legs and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Steady breathing. If the back body is feeling really tight, you can bend your knees a little bit or a lot and just keep pushing up and back. You can be on all fours if you need to be on all fours. You can stay right here. If you can be in downward facing dog, let's do it. Your hands are active, arms are active. Keep pushing up and back, up and back. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Take a look between your thumbs. Take a tiny little baby step forward with your right foot. A tiny baby step forward with your left foot. Keep your knees a little bit bent. You should look kind of springy. And now we're going to walk our hands towards our knees. Try to keep your chest lifted. And we get into a rearward shift. Steady breathing. Keep lifting your behind and keep protruding your chest. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Tone your legs. Tone your glutes. Tone your abs. Hands to heart center in a prayer fashion. Inhale. Exhale and drop your hands. Good. Let's bring ourselves to the center of our mats. Excuse me. Check and correct your feet. Feet about hip width apart. Trying to at least get the outsides of the knees to point forward. So you want your kneecaps to point forward. Don't let your knees turn out if you can help it. Sometimes our feet don't match up with our knees, and I understand. But the outside edges of your feet should more or less match the outside edges of your mat, and the outside edges of your knees should roll and point forward. Hands to heart center for mountain pose. I'm going to turn the other way. Mountain pose. Get tall. You keep dropping your tailbone down and lifting your crown up. One more big inhale. Exhale, extend your arms out in front, palms down. Inhale, internally rotate your arms, open wide, big breath in. Exhale, externally rotate your arms and bring your arms up overhead for extended arms mountain pose. Hold and breathe. If balance permits, if pain threshold permits, look up a little bit between your hands just to make sure they're more or less even. You don't want one arm too far forward or one arm too far backward. Just double check and then face forward. Breathe. Reach through the flesh of your arms and reach down through the bones of your arms. One more inhale. Exhale. Hand comes through heart center in a prayer fashion. Touch the front of your thighs. Bend your knees slightly. Rearward shift. Steady breathing. Use your muscles here. You're trying to contract your low back muscles, and you're also trying to contract your mid and upper back muscles. You do that by lifting your chest, and you do that by lifting your buttocks. One more inhale. Exhale. Come on down to your tummy any way you can. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter if you do a push-up. It doesn't matter at all. Once you're safely on your tummy, come up into Sphinx Pose, please. Tone your legs. Push your hands into the ground a little bit. Lift your chest a little. Breathe. For 3, 2, 1. Tuck your toes. 8-point plank. Pull your skull back. Start to curl your spine from the top down. Keep curling, keep breathing until slowly you peel your belly button off the ground. Once your belly button's off the ground, really work on the posterior pelvic tilt. Really try to tuck your pelvis under. Breathe. Keep your arms active. Keep your abs active. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. All the way down to your tummy. Arms by your side. Point your toes. Push down through your feet. Push down through your legs. Push down through your glutes. Slowly inhale. Peel your skull, shoulders, a couple of ribs off the ground. See if you can take your arms off the ground. Whatever you can do, do. We don't have to force ourselves into any positions that we can't get today. So do the best you can with what you've got. One more inhale. Exhale, lower yourself down nice and easy. Hands under your shoulders like a push-up. Tuck your toes under. Brace yourself. Push to all fours. Push your hips back just a tiny little bit. Now straighten your legs. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Constantly working on pushing the hips up and back. Steady breathing. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Take a look between your thumbs. Take one little baby step forward with your left foot. Another little baby step forward with your right foot. Stay on the ball of your feet. Keep your knees bent. Slowly walk your hands towards your knees. Try to keep your spine extended, your chest lifted. Rearward shift. Breathe. Steady breathing. Find all the extension through your spine. Try to make sure you're loading up your hamstrings. Use your legs and your hips. Stand straight up. Mountain pose. Big inhale. Exhale. Back to our starting position. Let's go through one more round, please. Check and correct your feet, please. Knees, legs, hips, hands to heart center. Get tall. Inhale. Exhale, extend your arms, palms down. Keep breathing. Internally rotate your arms, open wide, big inhale. Externally rotate your arms. Bring your arms up overhead for the extended arms mountain pose. Keep working. For 3, ground your heels. 2, reach toward the ceiling. 1, exhale. Hand comes through heart center in a prayer fashion. Touch the front of your thighs. Bend your knees. Rearward shift. For 3, keep working. 2, keep working. 1, as gracefully as you can, come on down to your belly button, all the way down. You don't have to do a push-up if you don't want to. Just get onto your tummy safely. Point your toes and come up into Sphinx Pose, please. Keep your legs toned a little bit, glutes toned. Inhale. Exhale. Retract your skull, tuck your toes, 8-point plank. Shallow breathing as you curl up into the 8-point plank. Remember that posterior pelvic tilt. Keep breathing. Find your abs. Find the lowest, most part of your abs. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Gently return to the earth. Point your toes. Arms by your side. Push through your feet, hips, legs. Now slowly start to pull your skull, shoulders, maybe a few ribs off the ground. Maybe your arms come off the ground. Push vigorously through your feet. Don't get lazy. You go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, but you maintain all the steps as you go. One more inhale. Exhale, lower down. Hands under your shoulders like a push-up. Tuck your toes. Brace yourself. Push to all fours. Push your hips back a tiny little bit. Catch that slow momentum and see if you can slowly get into a nice downward facing dog. Breathe. Keep pushing up and back. You're trying to get your hips up and back. Let your head hang loose like a Christmas ornament. Breathe. Take a look between your thumbs. Take a little baby step forward with your right foot. A little baby step forward with your left foot. Try to stay on the ball of your feet if you can. Keep your knees bent. Walk your hands to your knees. We get into a rearward shift. Breathe. Find the contractions through your entire spine. Low back, upper and mid back. One more inhale. Exhale, tone your legs, tone your hips. Stand up straight, please. Hands to heart center in a prayer fashion. Get tall. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Excellent. Now, instead of stepping back and forward like we do for the triangle poses and the warriors, we'll just stand and start from here. So find the center of your mat, more or less. Face me, please. And let's begin the standing sequence. So as gracefully as you can, any old way you can, let's step our feet as wide as possible. Similar to mountain pose, we're still trying to get the outside edges of our knees to point forward, feet pointing forward to the best of our ability. And this is just for low back and hip health. Remember, if anything hurts, don't do it. But if we're just lazy and we're avoiding establishing better habits, encourage yourself to safely explore new ranges of motion. Just keep it safe and pain-free. Now, keeping the legs toned, I'm going to take this leg, spin everything 90 degrees, every single thing. Make sure your kneecap is in line with your femur bone. Kneecap is more or less in line with your foot. This leg, I'm going to turn in everything, just about 30 degrees. Heel spins out, kneecaps turn in just a tiny little bit. Front hand to the front leg, rear hand out to a T. Inhale. As you exhale, hinge from your front hip. Hinge here, here. Keep pushing that until you feel stuck. You're trying to keep your ribs more or less even. You can hold on to your shin, your thigh. You don't have to be as deep in the pose as I am. You might even be deeper, and that's okay too. Breathe. Focus on the outside edge of your rear foot. Constantly trying to rotate this leg, the front leg. Breathe for 3, 2, stay strong. 1, tone up just a little more and come up to the shape of a T. Drop your hands. Good. Let's turn everything to the other side. So this leg turns in a little bit. This leg turns out a lot. 90 degrees. Double check that you're more or less square. Both legs toned. Front hand, front thigh. Inhale. As you exhale, drive your hips rearward. You're going to try to fold over your front leg without disturbing your rib cage, without disturbing your spine. So don't collapse. If this is happening, you got to tighten up here. That's the sound effect of muscles tightening. Breathe. Concentrate on that outside edge of that rear foot. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Tone up a little more. Come up to the shape of a T and drop your hands. Let's toe heel our feet together. And we're going to windmill down to a low runner's lunge. As gracefully as possible, assume a position similar to this. Now I messed up because of the camera angle, so hang on. Here. One knee is up, one knee is down. And we're going to try to be as square as possible. A lot of folks start in this position. Try not to. You want to be here. Now let me switch my legs one more time. You stay where you are. You're fine. Now, this is my right knee. So my left hand is going to go on the ground like a push-up. You can also make a fist if you need to. Right hand comes to the right waist. Every time you inhale, try to get long. Every time you exhale, try to rotate towards this front leg. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, rotate. The rotation has got to come from the rib cage and your guts. It's not coming from your shoulders and your head. Rotate your guts, rotate your ribs, and that's where you get that twisted triangle. Now, from here, if you like, tuck your rear toes under. Try to keep your hips kind of low and straighten the rear leg. The key is to not unwind. If you're unwinding, if you're losing that twist, then bring your knee back to the ground. Then maybe, last but not least, maybe bring your hand up to a T. But your shoulder should be a little more forward, in line with your arms and stuff. Don't let your arm fall behind you. Keep reaching up. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Gently unwind. Gently switch your feet any way you can. Now I'm going to turn again, I think. Yeah, I'm going to turn again so you can see what's going on. Left knee, right hand. Right hand's pushing into the ground like a push-up, or you can use a fist. Left hand comes to the waist, or whatever hand or side you're on is fine. Inhale, exhale, turn. Every time you exhale, you're trying to turn. Make sure you're turning from your guts. Make sure you're turning from your ribs. Don't turn from your head. Don't turn from your shoulders. Your head and your shoulders will follow along. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Tuck your toes under. Try to keep your hips low. Straighten the rear leg. Breathe. Keep turning. Keep turning your guts. Keep turning your ribs. Maybe your hand comes out to a T, maybe it doesn't. Straight to the ceiling, not behind you. Straight to the ceiling. Hang in there. For 3, 2, 1. Gently unwind. Come all the way down to your tummy, any way you can. Tone your legs. Tone your feet. Big inhale. Locust pose. Exhale, lower down. Hands under your shoulders like a push-up. Tuck your toes. Brace yourself. Push to all fours. Shift your hips back a little bit. Straighten your legs as you go. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Take a look between your thumbs. Left foot forward, right foot forward. Walk your hands to your knees. Rearward shift. Stand up nice and tall. Mountain pose. Inhale. Exhale. Now, let's get ready for some Warrior 2 and side angle. Okay. From the center of our mat. Again, let's take our feet wide. Just like we did a second ago, make sure your legs are firm, toes pointing forward, the whole shebang-a-bang. This time, the front leg, this leg, will spin 90 degrees to the front. Rear leg just stays pointing forward. Try not to let it turn out. Try not to let it turn in. Really make sure that this leg, this front leg, is externally rotated. Hands to your waist. Find an inhale. And as you exhale, bend your front leg as little or as much as you like. You see, I'm shuffling around and correcting myself. It's totally cool if you do it too. Just double check that your front heel is more or less in line with the rear arch of your rear foot, or the front arch of your rear foot. Hands to a T when you're ready. It's called Warrior 2. Hold and breathe. Focus on the outside edge of your rear foot, really trying to ground that down. Focus a little bit on your front knee. The back side of your front knee is trying to go backwards, and your femur bone, at the root of the femur bone, is trying to go forward. Breathe. So we're just trying to keep action in the entire pose. Now, brace yourself, straighten your leg, drop your arms. Good. And let's turn our feet. Rear foot, rear leg, 0 degrees. Front leg, 90 degrees. Double check that everything's lined up. Hands to your waist. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your front leg as little or as much as you like. It's just going to be contingent upon your knee staying over your ankle and your level of comfort. Focus on the outside edge of your rear foot. Bring your hands out to a T, please. Breathe. Reach through your ring fingernails. Reach up through your skull. But you're also kind of reaching down through your hips. So there's this sort of dichotomous up and down, left and right sort of feeling here. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Straighten your front leg. Drop your arms. Good. Let's go to the other side. Side angle pose. 90 degrees on the rear leg. 0 degrees on the rear leg. 90 degrees on the front leg. Check that your squares are. Check that your hips are square. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your front leg as little or as much as you like. just like we did in Warrior Two. Hands out to a T, just like Warrior Two. Here's the difference. Reach straight out and over with your front arm. When you feel stuck, stop. Keep all of this braced. Don't bend here. Keep this braced and drop your bottom arm into position. Breathe. Keep your legs toned. We're trying to get these bottom ribs to turn a little more forward. We want to see a box here, if we can. Brace yourself. Warrior Two. Straighten your leg. Drop your arms. Good work. Switch sides. Rear leg, 0 degrees. Front leg, 90 degrees. Double check everything. Everything should line up in a straight line. Hands to your waist. Exhale. Keep breathing. We just shimmy and shuffle our way into position. Make sure we're set through the legs. Hands out to a T. Warrior Two. Reach straight out and over your front leg. When you feel stuck, drop your arm into position and we get side angle pose. Breathe. Focus on your legs. Try to get these bottom ribs to turn a little more to the front, just a little bit. So not like this. We push against the thigh and we open up the rib cage a little. Brace yourself. Warrior Two. Straighten your front leg. Drop your arms. Good. Let's toe heel our feet together. Let's get into mountain pose, please. Correct and check your feet. Hands to heart center in a prayer fashion. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Good work. Now, let's do some rearward shifting. Let me fix my yoga mat a little bit, please. And I'll turn sideways so we can see the rearward shift clearly. First version. And just follow along with me, please. Check and correct your feet. Legs straight, arms straight. Bring the palms to touch the front of your thighs. Inhale. As you exhale, keep breathing, but bend your knees just about 20 degrees. Lift your tailbone. So you want to feel your low back muscles contract. Then contract the upper back muscles by protruding your chest. Keep all these contractions intact and push your hips straight back. You are shifting rearward. Your hands may or may not find your kneecaps, but just hold and breathe. Keep working. Keep trying to lift your chest. Keep trying to contract those low back muscles. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Use your legs, use your hips to stand straight up. Hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Good. Second variation. Of course, you may stick with the first variation the entire time. You may skip poses if you need to re-energize or whatever. Do the best you can with what you got. Second variation. Legs straight. Arms straight. Touch the front of your thighs, please. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees slightly. Anterior pelvic tilt. Keep breathing. Protrude your chest. Rearward shift. Now, if we've done this correctly, your hands will just feel kind of free. There's no weight in your hands. All the weight is in your buttocks and your hamstrings. If that's how it feels, Bring your hands to heart center in a prayer fashion. Be very mindful that the muscles are loaded in your hamstrings and your glutes. From here, telescope your arms straight up overhead. Keep lifting your chest. Keep rearward shifting. Hang in there for 3. Keep trying. 2, 1. Hands to heart center. And stand straight up, please. Right into mountain pose. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Good. Now let's take our feet a little bit wide. Not quite as wide as starting position, but about mat width. So about mat width. Correct your feet like you would just in mountain pose. Arms straight. Touch the front of your thighs, please. Inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees slightly. Anterior pelvic tilt. You want to feel a stretch here. Puff up your chest and rearward shift. Steady breathing. Your hands will find your kneecaps at some point, but you're trying to get your collarbones wide and up. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Stand straight up. Tuck your pelvis under. Hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Good. Just kind of toe heel your feet together. If it feels like you need to shake your limbs loose a little bit, go ahead. Catch your breath. Sip some water if you need to sip some water. I wore my watch today. The one piece of technology I can usually rely on, my $10 digital watch. Let's work a little bit on balance poses. Now the way I'm set up, I'm not really close to, well, I'll ruin camera angles if I grab onto walls and stuff. But if you need to hold onto a wall, hold onto a wall. If you have a sturdy chair nearby, maybe hold onto a sturdy chair. But if you want to work your balance, it's better to just work your balance. You know, even if your balance poses look like this because you keep messing up over and over again, that will help you in the long run versus holding on to a wall and getting the balance pose right, because then you're just learning how to hold on to a wall. Now, when you're ready, let's bring our feet together, please. Keep your arms loose. This is called squatting without squatting. I'm going to shift all the weight into my left leg. If you're facing it, it's going to be your right leg. Wait until you feel your leg tone, abs brace. Then start bending your left knee. My right knee, your left knee. And just try to raise this up as high as possible. You want to bend the knee as much as possible. You want to lift the knee as much as possible. Breathe. Keep your arms relaxed. Keep your foot relaxed. On your left knee, the knee that's bent, try to keep that foot relaxed. Hang in there with me. Keep lifting your knee. Keep bending your knee. Keep trying. For 3, 2, stay loose. 1. Slowly put the foot on the ground and relax. Now, at least one performance point. We'll get to the other side in a second. As you're bringing your knee up, remember you're trying to also draw your heel up. That's called flexion. You're flexing the knee. So it's not this, it's this. So you flex your knee and flex your hip. So when you're ready, let's try the other side. Feet together. Shift all the weight into the opposite leg. My right leg, your left leg maybe. Arms loose. Wait until you feel your leg kick in. When that happens, bend your right knee, but you're also bending your right hip. Bending your right knee means you're trying to bring your heel toward your glutes. Keep lifting the knee, but keep bending the knee. Keep lifting, keep bending the whole time. Breathe. Keep bending, keep lifting. Even though I've stopped, I'm still trying. There's still a certain amount of effort in my hamstrings to bend my knee. There's a certain amount of effort in my hip flexors to lift my knee. Keep going, keep trying, keep trying. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Both feet down, both hands down. If it feels like you need to shake out any residual tension, please do. Next one, we'll just do classic tree pose. So for tree pose, we want to bring our feet together. Let your arms be loose. Let your arms get in the way. Try not to put your hands here. Try not to bring your hands to heart center. Just leave your arms loose. Start to shift all the weight into your right leg. Wait until you feel the right leg get firm. Bend the opposite knee. So your knee points forward. Looks like maybe you're going to do a little soccer ball kick. When you feel ready, turn the knee out to the side and put your left foot on your right calf. Woo, Nelly. And breathe. Now, just like in Warrior 2, the outside part of my knee is reaching backward. And the deep root of my femur bone is pushing forward. Breathe and keep that action the whole time. The struggle is real. Keep trying to open your right hip. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Gently on. Both feet down, both hands down. I said it before and I'll say it again. 30 years of practice and I still struggle on my left foot. It was an injury I acquired when I was about 10 years old. Rolled my ankle, it never got fixed. And so I don't have as much mobility in my left foot. But you do the best you can with what you got. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. So let's bring our feet together. Start to put all the weight into your opposite leg. Maybe your left leg. Keep it toned. Make sure it's ready. Bend the opposite knee. Just enough as if you could kick a little soccer ball. When you feel ready, turn your right knee out. Put your right foot on your left calf and breathe. Keep getting taller. The outside of your knee is pointing backwards. You're trying to touch the wall behind you with the outside of your knee. But your femur bone, right where your femur bone attaches to your hip, is trying to push forward. So you have this sort of forward and backward action happening in your femur bone. Breathe. Hang in there for 3. Keep working. 2. Keep working. 1. Both feet down. Both hands down. Please check and correct your feet. Reset with mountain pose. Get tall. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands. Good. Let me correct my mat. And for front warriors, let's all come to the front of our mats, please. So all 10 toes are more or less at the front of the mat. I'm going to stare at my right foot. You can pick one or the other. Keeping my attention on that foot, my right foot, I'm going to drag my left toes straight back to a high runner's lunge. I'm trying to keep this rear leg as straight as possible. trying to bend the front leg as much as possible. Square off the hips a little bit, hands to heart center. Hold and breathe. Maybe bring my arms up overhead, maybe not. Trying to keep the ribs down. So we try to, don't do this. Don't get super stretchy here. You're trying to curl up almost like into a ball. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Hands to heart center. Swing your arms back a little bit. Step forward. Front warrior, opposite side. Stare at the opposite foot. Drag the other foot straight back to a high runner's lunge. I'm trying to turn this leg inward, and that helps square my hip off forward. Your hip bones are trying their best to point straight forward like headlights. Hands to heart center, or hands up overhead. Breathe. Keep working your pelvis. You're trying to tuck your pelvis under. Keep dropping your ribs if you can. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Hands to heart center. Swing your arms back a little bit. Step forward. Good. Time for one more front warrior variation. Humble warrior. Stare at your right foot, please. Drag your left toes straight back to a high runner's lunge. Keeping the ribs down. Hands to heart center. Stay here if you want, or bring your arms up overhead. Stay here if you want, or hinge forward a little bit. As you're hinging forward, you're trying to straighten your rear leg just a little more. You're trying to bend your front leg just a little more, just microscopically. Now hold on to that newfound range of motion. Hands to heart center. Hold on to that newfound range of motion. Raise your torso. Swing your arms back. Step forward. Last one. Stare at your left foot, please. Drag your right toes straight back. Front warrior. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hands to heart center. Or hands up overhead. Hinge from your hip. Try to straighten your rear leg. Keep your ribs down. Maybe bend your front leg just a little more. Hang in there for 3, 2, 1. Hands to heart center. Try to maintain that newfound range of motion as you lift your chest. Swing your hands back a little bit. Step forward. Come to mountain pose, please, to reset your posture. Hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale and drop your hands. Got hot in here all of a sudden. Let's come on down to a seated position, please. You may sit any way you like. You may sit cross-legged. You may sit with your legs extended. The goal is to be able to sit up tall. Try not to slouch. Try to sit up tall. If there are books or pillows or blankets nearby, stack them up, get them under your hips, and that'll help you be able to sit up tall easier. Now, once you've got yourself established, bring your hands to heart center. Bring your hands to prayer. Glue your thumbnails to your chest. So now they're at heart center. Keep your shoulders down. Keep your elbows down. Try to keep your nose in line with your fingers. Inhale. As you exhale, turn to your left. But only turn so much as your hands stay glued to your chest, and that your nose more or less hovers over your fingers. Breathe and keep trying. You won't move a whole lot, and that's normal. But we're trying to keep it honest by moving just through the ribs. One little trick is just look down the sides of your nostrils, and that'll help you keep an eye on your fingers as you rotate. Keep rotating, keep going. Keep trying. Stay calm, but keep trying. And gently unwind. Good. If it feels you need to shake out any residual tension, please do. Let me offer you one performance tip. You're trying to keep your head up. So even though the cue is to keep your nose over your fingers, it doesn't mean this. So you're not doing this. You're trying to keep, if you can imagine a straight line, there's my nose, and it goes right over my fingers. See how my nose is nowhere near my fingers? Just try to keep it lined up. A straight line, a plumb line all the way down. Inhale. As you exhale, turn the opposite way. But only go so far as your thumbs stay glued to your breastbone, and as your nose more or less hovers over your fingertips. Breathe. Breathe. Keep trying. You will definitely be stuck. That's 100% for sure. Stay stuck, but keep trying. Keep pushing into that stuckness. Hang in there, please, for 3, 2, 1. Gently unwind. Shake out your arms. If you need to, we'll straighten and shake out our legs a little bit. Awesome. Let's work a little bit on yoga abs. Today we'll do bicycles. We'll try to do really slow, controlled bicycles. So you may hear me cueing inhale, exhale, but just keep breathing no matter what. Keep the breaths just really shallow. Inhale, exhale whenever you need to, but maybe we emphasize one or the other as we start to move. I'll do my best to explain. From here, we'll just lie flat on our backs. Hold on to your kneecaps or make a hand sandwich here is fine. Make sure you're pretty flat to the ground, shoulders, spine, and hips. From this position, use your abs muscles, keep your knees in place. Interlace your fingers and bring them behind your head. Now notice, hopefully, while you're lying flat on the ground, you cannot see your elbows. You can't see them. Hopefully you just see the ceiling. You're not like this. So as you're going through the bicycles, try to keep your elbows out to the side. Now, using your abs, peel your skull and your shoulder blades a little bit off the ground. So that's an abs action. If I let my hands go, I'm still away from the ground because my abs are pulling me up, not my hands. From this position, this is the inhale. Exhale. Turn towards your right knee. Straighten your left leg. Point through your heel of your left leg. Inhale. Exhale. Switch. Breathe shallow as you work through the inhales and the exhales. Go slowly. Go smoothly. Reach out through your heel. Pull your toes back. Do not point your toes. Pointing your toes makes it easy. We don't want easy. We want doable but challenging. The lower you bring your straight leg to the ground, the more challenging the bicycles can be. If you keep your feet away from the ground, like this makes the bicycles easier. They're both just as good, doesn't really matter. Now let's see if we can do 100 more. Good. Bring your knees to your chest. Catch your breath a little bit. Hold on to your kneecaps or make a hand sandwich. I'm just double checking to make sure my spine is relatively straight, hips relatively square, shoulders relatively square. Good. And then one at a time, we'll let one foot touch the ground and the other foot touch the ground. Next are the peels. P-E-E-L-S. We're trying to peel ourselves off the ground. I'm going to tuck my shirt in because that may help with the visualization of the technique. So that way my shirt's not hanging down and in the way. Here's what we try. First, make sure that you're pretty square on the ground. Keep your feet relaxed. Keep your knees vertical. Hands by your side. For me, I'm going to move my hands, so hopefully you can see the action in the hips. You keep your hands by your side for now, till you get the feel of it. On the inside, contract your Kegel muscles. On the outside, perform a posterior pelvic tilt, so there's no space between you or your mat. Now slowly, using the deepest, lowest part of your abs, just under your belly button, right between your belly button and your pubic symphysis, right there. Pull that down as you start to peel your buttocks off the ground. Go slowly, breathe shallowly. And you're just working your way up. Buttocks first, then hip bones, then a few back bones, until you get your hips up off the ground. Breathe deeply. Your ribs stay relatively low and your tummy stays relatively low. Feet are relaxed and your shins are vertical the whole time. Now, once you feel stuck, just keep breathing and keep working. So keep rotating your pelvis. Keep focusing right at the very low part of your abs. Now slowly return to earth. So go the opposite way. Back bones first. Then maybe your hip bones. Feet stay relaxed. And then the very, 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 very last thing to touch will be your glutes. If we do it properly, it can be very abs-ish and very glute-ish. Now, if you want to, cross your hands over your chest. This will help prevent you from cheating, whether you do it subconsciously or not. Cross your arms. Kegels on the inside. Posterior pelvic tilt. Keep your feet relaxed and slowly start to peel your buttocks off the ground. Then your hip bone. Then a couple of back bones. You might get to a floating rib or you might not. But the goal is the technique, not the outcome. The outcome will just be a natural byproduct of good technique. Breathe. You're trying to roll your pelvis this way, this way, this way. Keep rolling your pelvis. And slowly, let's return to earth. Slowly come back. Back bones first, then hip bones, then glutes. and then relax, totally relax. We've got time for one more bridge. Now, if you want to, of course, repeat what we just did. If you want a little more of a challenge, if your knees can tolerate it, bring your heels in closer to your buttocks, as close as you can. Be mindful of your knees. If your knees cannot take this kind of compression, just leave your feet where they were. If you can, heels as close to your buttocks as possible. Arms crossed. Kegels on the inside. Posterior pelvic tilt on the outside. Feet relaxed, knees relaxed, and then slowly start to peel off the ground. Slowly peel. Still breathing. Kegel contractions. Posterior pelvic tilt. You're peeling up. Now, once you've reached your maximum, start to push your knees over your feet. Push your knees over your feet. So you're dorsiflexing your ankles and you're extending your hips, but you're still rotating your pelvis, trying to keep your ribs down. You're just pushing your knees away from you. Hopefully, you feel a little stretch in your quadriceps. Hopefully, you might feel a little stretch in your hip flexors. Hopefully, everything's okay with your knees. Back out if you need to. Now, bring your knees back a little bit. Curl yourself down. Back bones first. Then hip bones. Then buttocks. Great work. Bring your arms by your side, palms face up. And one at a time, just kind of drag your legs. One leg first, then the other leg. Just get them flat on the ground. If you can, take your hands and just lift your head up just a tiny little bit. Just to create a little bit of space between you and your mat. And then lie your head back down. Just a little gentle stretch on the back of your neck, but a little bit of an alignment as well. Now, put some action into your legs, just like we do with extended arms mountain pose. Push your heels away from you. If it's possible, bring your arms up overhead. Now, if you can't get your arms up overhead, you can reach your arms up to the ceiling like Frankenstein. Reach your heels and reach your arms. Keep reaching your heels away from you and reach your arms either to the ceiling or in the exact opposite direction of your heels. Energize everything. Make both legs energized. Stretch the inside and the outside of the leg. Stretch the outside of your ribs. Stretch the outside of your arms. Big inhale. Exhale, bring your arms back and go. Palms face the ceiling. Feet flop out to the side. Close your eyes. Let your breath do whatever it's going to do. Your breath might be kind of fast right now. It might not. You may have completely recovered and everything's cool. That's fine too. The goal is don't do anything. Let the breath correct itself. Let the mind settle. If there's anything to do here, is do nothing. Don't do anything. Just get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get quiet. Now I'll bring us out of meditation in about 1 minute. So let's see if we can be completely quiet inside and outside for about 1 minute. Keep your eyes closed as you start to come back. Start to breathe normal. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, roll your ankles and roll your wrists. See if you can start to breathe deeply. Put a smile on your face. Let that smile emphasize all the feel-good feelings you're experiencing right now. Be proud of yourself for showing up and doing the work. Now, one at a time, slowly, bring your knees to your chest. And just try to hold on and be kind of flat and soft. Now, if you want to, you can follow along with me, or just come to a seated position as gracefully as possible. I'm going to roll over to my side, just real easy. Use my hands as pillows and just catch my breath for a second here. Trying to be as drama-free as possible to come out of the practice in a nice meditative way. And then to the best of my ability, with the assistance of my hands and legs, slowly come on up to a seated position. Just easy, nice and easy. Just sit up nice and tall any way you can.